Hey everybody, my name is Nic Sanker, and I'm super excited to announce the launch of the Huddle, which is going to be a weekly show where we have Princeton Football guys on to really tell stories and behind the scenes of the lives of Princeton football players. And it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to hear a lot of cool stories. We're going to have some fun games. And hopefully at the end of the day, you get to get a better picture of what these guys are, of who we are when we take our helmets off. So super excited to kick it off with two of our big-time leaders, the newest captains, Mason Armstead and Collin Taylor. Welcome to the show.
Sank, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Sank. Appreciate it.
Privilege. Pressure
Absolutely.
and a privilege. Pressure and a privilege.
Yeah, we'll get you guys nice and loosened up. I know Collin's a little nervous. But we're going to start it off with some teammate superlatives. I've got a list of questions right here, so it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to touch on some of the other things, like some stories from games, some stories from outside of football as well, and then finish it off with a fun little game at the end. But for the first superlative, who on the team is the best dressed? And we're going to have two categories for that. One for like normal day dress, and the other for just like football drip.
Oof. The obvious answer is me. Everyone knows how much I love clothes and fashion.
Collin is up there.
Yeah, how much I care about that
I mean,
type of stuff.
look at his kicks right now.
Yeah,
That's like
recovery
Collin to
shoes.
a T. Recovery shoes, the football socks, some shorts, and some sort of Princeton gear, maybe a lift shirt, or a jersey, or some sort of football jersey or something. But I would have to go with two guys that come to mind initially. Two Doughboys. Got to go two Doughboys. Nasir Hill. He's putting a lot of fits together recently.
Okay.
He'd kill me if I didn't say him.
Shout out
And
Nas.
then Sully Williams. Sully's got great drip. He's got some expensive drip. Oh, and then one more. Nasir Cook. He's got great drip too.
I think there's a little bit of bias in that.
I think that's biased, but I do think the Doughboys is the best dress group.
Is that just for daily dress or drip? Or
Both.
overall?
I'm going
Okay.
both. Like I think every day, like those guys bring it. They bring something to the table. You know, they got some good stuff. So, shout out those guys.
Colin.
Oh man,
Game day. Who's the best drip?
Ooh, best game day drip.
Best game
That's a
day.
good. That's
a good
one.
question. I feel like I have to go Sekou. I feel like Sekou's a guy that put some good thought into
he's
that.
He's not gonna let that die down now.
I know he takes
gonna
pride in
ride
it. I want to give him his props. So I feel like I have to go with Sekou.
Drippy Wednesday practice. He does have. He usually puts.
He plans for it.
on.
It's something he takes pride in.
Yeah,
I think he does a good job
for that. But I think for normal daily dress, I feel like you can't discount my boy Robert Sanders.
Okay.
And you can't discount Blaine McAllister.
Okay.
Blaine
McAllister will walk around with like
Blaine
a nice fit on and like a scarf. I think he's the only one on his team that will walk around with a man's scarf.
Blaine's a good one. I got one more. It just came to mind. Outside of the Doughboys, he'll be very happy I mentioned him. Scott Becker.
Becker, yeah.
King of the pastels. Always has some sort of pastel color on.
When he came in with the Jason Kelsey, the Kelly Green,
the Kelly Green. Yeah, no, he does a great job. He loves to switch it up. Sometimes he's got a lot of good athleisure. He's like I said, a lot of good pastels. He'll throw on the canes one day. He's got multiple pairs of canes.
We're gonna need some pictures of these,
which is impressive. Right? I know. We gotta get some pictures.
We'll get one. All right, next one. Who on the team is most likely to fall asleep during meetings?
Oh gosh, you go first. I have someone off here. But
I know. There's so many you can go with. There's a couple prime people for that.
I think me and Seg, we might have the same answer, but I'm gonna go Rob Sanders.
Rob is a sleepy guy. Literally in meetings, Coach Mendy once had to have him just stand up because he was just falling asleep. He's like, Rob, just stand up.
Yeah. Coach Verbitt's had to pull that a couple times, but I don't think we've had anyone fall asleep in ours. I wouldn't. Right. I wouldn't say if they had, but I feel like that we don't have that problem.
I would not want to fall asleep in Coach Verbitt's meeting, obviously.
No, that would be scary. But all right, here we go. We're gonna have this one. Not the best answer, but who's the worst dancer on the team?
Oh, man. I mean, the worst ones are the guys that don't dance at all, I'm sure, but someone who dances who just shouldn't be.
Dance, yeah.
Might be Simon Bracken. I don't want to put Becker out like that, but sometimes it's just he thinks he's got it going on, but he just doesn't.
I gotta
give hate me for that.
So not exactly an answer, but if you look at a guy like Tommy Matheson, Tommy's not a dancer, but he's got a move. He's got a signature move.
What's his signature?
I could not. I wish I could replicate it.
He's got like a TikTok dance.
Yeah, he's like with his arms,
and then he does like the roll. Yeah, that he's pretty emphatic about that one.
That makes it work for him. You know, he's not a dancer, but yeah.
That one's a good one. That one's hard to describe. You just have to witness.
We'll see if we can get you
a signature. Everybody has their signature.
It's a signature move.
I mean, you know what's happening when you call out the Sanker. We have Presco.
Sanker, yeah. There's a couple. Oh yeah. Yeah,
Prescott's got his signature.
Prescott's got one, yeah. And then there's a lot of good dancers on the team too, though.
Who's the best?
Oh gosh, I keep gassing these people up, but Nas Hill, great dancer, good dancer.
Nas, you're getting a lot of praise today.
Yeah, I'm gassing my boy. Shout out for.
You gotta thank him. All right, well, we're gonna jump into now. We got a couple superlatives out of the way. We're gonna jump into just like hearing a little bit about your guys' stories. You guys both come from very different backgrounds. You're not even the same year, even though we graduated the same year.
True.
But just hearing a little bit of how you got to where you are today. I know part of that for you, Mesa, is going through that COVID experience. So be great to hear kind of just like what that was like for you. You can kick it off.
Yeah. So I got recruited my senior year of high school and dwindled it down really to a couple Ivy League schools. And then visited Princeton late in January of my senior year, super late. Coach Serace let me come and actually decided to commit on the spot. And then I committed in 2020 of February and didn't get on campus until September of 2021 because of COVID. So, which is crazy to think about, but went through a COVID fall and then took the spring off of 21, and then was finally on campus fall of 21. Yeah. So that was the year we won the Ivy League championship. But I mean, just like having to do online school was a whole different thing. Obviously, you know about it, and just like our recruiting class was like kind of just like in like fractions, like we were all over the place and stuff. So dealing with that was a little bit different. And I know so many guys were so eager to get on campus. And then even the guys that were on campus, like you, I'm sure you can speak from experience. Like it was definitely rough. It's definitely like different.
It was terrible.
Definitely different. Obviously now that we've like been able to be on campus for a couple of years now, where it's normal, obviously it's way more enjoyable. But I mean, I was happy that I was able to take that semester off and then finally get to campus in 2021. Came in as an athlete and was a receiver actually freshman year.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. Yeah. Like, what was that transition like? Coming in as a receiver, and now you're one of our best DBs.
Yeah, so I mean, came in as a freshman, played for Coach Flynn at wide receiver, and had a lot of fun. Was able to travel and even play, and recorded my one and only catch. So, but I loved it. I loved playing with those guys. It was a great group. Like you look back at that group and what those guys are doing now. You know, like Dre, obviously in the NFL, like a great mentor. Classy, another guy, obviously, who had a great career here. And then like my mentor was Axe. Shout out Axe. And then like Jacob Bermelin, Cash Goodhart, like so many guys. Cherry, all those guys were awesome. So learning from them and like just learning how. Like we were such a cohesive group and got along so well. Like the seniors weren't like, they weren't like too cool, I guess, in a way or anything. And like, just from the top to the bottom, like we just had so much fun. And I think it like reflected in the way we played. And like, I mean, obviously how that season went, like I had a ton of fun. But actually right after the season was over, I had my exit meeting with Coach Serace, like the week right after we finished, and went into the meeting like expecting to talk about, you know, wide receiver and stuff like that. And he was like, look, you had a great year at receiver, but we actually want you to play defensive back. Like there's a possibility you might have to do that. So that kind of caught me off guard, but I was open to it, obviously. And
what was your first reaction?
I was just like, whoa, like, because I had such a good year at wide receiver as one of the young guys. I was like, You know, like, okay.
Yeah, you actually traveled for a receiver.
Right. So it was like I felt like I was continuing to earn respect and was excited to get into a spring where I could, continue to develop. But there was a bunch of question marks with if Classy was going to come back. So that was the biggest factor. And when he decided to come back, then it was a matter of, Coach Surace called me. One of the first days back in the spring was like, we're gonna move you to defensive back. We think you'll do really great there based off your high school film. So then from there, started at spring practice, just kind of like relied on a couple of the older guys and, Mike Rutland, guys like that, who just kind of helped me through the process and, getting up to speed with the playbook. And all the guys were super welcoming. And obviously, they're all my best friends now. So it was definitely a tough transition period, but I just kind of kept my head down and worked and had a good attitude about it, and things have worked out. So, but yeah, playing defense and love it. So
that's awesome. How about you, Colin? Let's hear your story a little bit.
Yeah, so I think the COVID thing really did affect my recruiting process a lot, but I was a little behind you guys. So COVID started my junior spring, which I kind of just finished my junior season, had a few offers, was kind of like gaining some momentum recruiting wise, and then COVID happened, and that kind of like changed everything where. Like I wasn't going on visits or anything like that anymore. Like there wasn't any camps that summer, but it was tons of just like Zoom calls, like all the time. And I think what really led me here was how much time the coaches and really everyone, it was coaches, current players. Like I talked to like Sam Wright and Uche for a while, like strength staff, alumni, they connected me with so many people. So the point where even though I wasn't able to be here, like I felt like I knew enough about the program to like make that decision.
Now too. It's so weird how many of the guys, the older guys we met online and felt like we knew, but we had never met. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the older guys that were in my position group and stuff, like we were on Zoom so many times, and then we would do like the whole team Zooms.
I didn't meet the team to that, like you said, the fall of 21.
Right, and we would be like on a team-wide Zoom, and like Coach Surace would just be on his laptop with like a Princeton backdrop, and like that's just like how we met, and we were just like, how's everyone doing? And it was just, everyone was just sitting there. It's like, what is going on? It was so odd, especially looking back and like doing what we do now and having team meetings in person and everything. Like, it's such a different experience. Go ahead though. I'm sorry, now that you said that, but
yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. But then kind of like to the point where I felt like I knew enough though. Like they took way more time than I feel like anyone else that I talked to. Where like I was comfortable like committing myself to Princeton without actually having to physically be here. And then that whole senior year was like weird. Like we didn't play in the fall. Like at my high school, we played in like the spring, and then it was kind of like that quick transition to like COVID like ending and then ending up here, and then but like that like it was a weird because also like all of you guys were coming in and hadn't been here yet, and my whole grade hadn't been here yet, so we all kind of just like ended up
freshman classes
like jumbled together.
Huge recruiting class,
There ended up being like 50 guys that were like all kind of in the same situation.
Yeah, and even this like you've been a guy that's been pretty big for us the last couple of years. Just like, what was your experience like in the last couple of years? Just how you grew, going behind guys like Sam Wright and so on. Like, what's that been like?
I mean, even my freshman year, like Sam Wright was unbelievable. Probably the best player I've ever been around. He was incredible. So I think just getting to watch him as a freshman, learn from him, like seeing kind of how he addressed everything from practice to meetings to then just watching him on game day just destroy people, I think was huge. I think early on though, like for me, like I came in and I was like, I knew I needed to gain weight. So like that was kind of a lot of my early time here. So I probably gained like 30, 35 pounds.
How much did you come in at?
Probably like 230. I think when they started recruiting me, like my junior fall, I was 210. Then I got here at like 230. And now I'm like 270. So like it was definitely it was a process to get here.
I don't remember you ever being skinny. I was like, wow, that's just huge.
Yeah, I was 200 in high school.
Yeah,
and now I'm like
wild.
244. They put on a little bit of weight.
Not me. I mean, I was skinny. I'm still skinny.
I was like, you were skinny,
dude. I think I got here. I was like 167, like 168. Now I'm like 182, 183. So still skinny, but. Not as much of a jump as you guys.
Got a whole lot stronger though.
Yeah, 100%.
But obviously, it's been really cool. Like the last couple of years, and we've had some really, really special moments. And it all started with our JV games where we would play on Sundays. I think we had 3 pretty much every year. Are there any stories from the JV games where it all started for us? And for context, JV games basically we play against usually some other D3 school that's somewhat close on a Sunday. It's the young guys that haven't really gotten in before. We never go live during practice, so there's a chance for guys to go live and for coaches to see what they got. So early on we had JV games, but I wanted to hear, are there any moments or memories that stuck out to you from those games?
Yeah. Let me take this one. We were talking about it earlier. It's one of my favorite memories from being here. Is the game against Army my freshman year. I don't know if you guys, because you're freshmen and sophomores at that point. My freshman year, and it was into the season, so I think it was after Columbia. So like we kind of been established a little bit. We all like knew each other and we knew like Army is a legit program, and they were really good, and they had come in like fired up, ready to go, and we played the game. We played great. We played great as a defense.
Great.
They
had one awesome play that entire game off of a wheel route. Wickware didn't carry the wheel. Sorry, call you out like that, Wickware. That was the one play they had pretty much all game. I remember before the game, Coach White comes in. He's like, because we haven't prepared for them at all.
Yeah,
he comes in.
I've heard this.
So, hey, guys, Army actually runs triple option. And we're like, we know that.
That's awesome. And he just goes, here's what we're going to do. And he drew up a play, and we ran that play, and it worked. And that's kind of how you stop the triple option. You have something that works, and you stay to it. You're disciplined. We were playing great, but it was right towards the end. I think it was like the last drive of the game, and they were like in like the red zone, and there was a fumble and like a massive pile after the fumble. It was, and then they was getting aggressive, and just as like from the pile, like I remember looking over and I just see Manus McCracken, who's one of our linebackers and a great guy, just emerge from the pile with a Army player like by like the collar, and he like lifts him up. And Manus is about 5'9", and he has this guy who's probably like 6'4". He has him like up by like the collar, and he lifts him off the ground. He was like on top of somebody and just starts walking him back. And it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, Manus is built like a tree stump. Yeah, and he has someone built like a tree, but he had him look like in the chokehold on the sideline, cussing him out, picking him up off the ground by awesome. Looked like the throw. That was one of the funniest moments I've ever seen.
I wish, I mean, I was on the travel squad at that point, but I remember we were going into the weight room when Army was coming out, and like we were all watching them come out, and they were all like psyched. And I had just been in the locker room with the guys and stuff, and like they're all like, "Oh man, like it's Sunday morning," and I was like, good luck, guys. Like those guys look like they're ready to go to battle, and I was like, you guys have fun. But I enjoyed watching those my freshman year too. I mean, we played in the first one. Only memory I really have from that is we played Keene, and the first drive, like I caught a post, and then we scored like a play or two later, and then JoJo got a sweep on the second drive and cribbed it, like, and then Coach Flynn was like, all right, you guys are done. He was like, you guys aren't playing anymore, and the rest was history. But I love watching those games, and especially like last year, I remember watching those games too. It's always good to see the young guys get after it. So and it was nice to play because it'd been like 2 years since I'd played since COVID.
Exactly.
So I was like, like I would like to get in a JV game and like just like play, you know. So that was nice. But JV games always fun.
One that's not necessarily welcome to college football moment, but another fun memory is when last year we were playing Cornell.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to tell that story. You and I were able to team up for a nice little play.
Yeah. This was my first game back. I'd rolled my ankle last year and missed a couple games, so Cornell was my first game back. I was excited. What was it? The third quarter, maybe?
I think so.
It was the third quarter, and I think they were driving a little bit, but it was a big third down. I think it was, and they slipped out a running back for a screen.
Yeah.
And I just saw this like wall of red, and I was like, "Oh man, here we go! Like, let's see what we can do here." So I get off the block and I start running up, and I literally like run down. Their running back was tiny; he was a small guy. And I just like get on a knee, and I just kind of like nudge my head in there, and I'm like, "All right, let's just And I put my hat right on the ball. So and then like
the ball just pops out
like 10 yards behind, and like. I didn't know what happened because I just got ran over by like 3 Cornell offensive linemen right after the play. So I'm just like trying to survive. And like I get up and I see Sank has the ball, and I was like, all right, perfect. I was like, I might have knocked that ball out, but I'm not sure because like everything happened so fast.
Yeah.
But then I wasn't able to like look. I thought on the sideline maybe, but I wasn't able to see it till after the game. We watched film and stuff. But yeah, that was awesome. So that was a good experience. First game back, ring the bell a little bit. So
yeah,
that was good. That was awesome.
I remember that. For me, I was rushing. And on that screen, like the tackle stayed on me. He didn't just like let me through. So he was still on me. And then I see the quarterback like lob the ball over the top. Yep. So I try to get my hand up to get a piece on the ball, and I just like barely miss. I'm like,
Yeah.
So I turn around to start running back to pursue the ball, right? Because that's what we do. It's in our DNA.
It's in our DNA.
And all of a sudden, I just see the ball just pop out.
It was perfect.
And I was like, oh, shoot. So I run, and I try to like scoop it up, which we practice in our turnover circuit.
Right.
Try to scoop it up. Can't get it, and so I'm pretty close to the sideline.
You were close to the sideline,
and I was like, "Oh, I gotta get! I'm not like gonna miss this opportunity to get a fumble." So I just fell on it, barely right before we got to the sideline, and kept it in bounds.
Yeah, moment. You look back at that video, you were very close.
I was very close, but hey,
controlled chaos. Controlled chaos.
All right, I got one more story for you. In honor of Lehigh Week, we're gonna go back to 2 years ago.
Yeah,
this is kind of one of my first moments.
Let's go.
Getting to play. And so we're playing Lehigh. And here's the backstory, which is very important to this.
Yeah, this is good.
So the day before, my brother was I have a lot of brothers, but I have one in high school that was playing at Woodbury Forest, and then another one that was playing at UVA. And so they both had Friday games. I don't remember who Lucas was playing, but Jonas, who plays at UVA, was playing Syracuse, and so I was watching the game. Right. And Jonas they both get a pick that day, so they both get a pick. And after the second pick by Jonas, Kendrick, my older brother, posts on his story. He's like, "Oh, Lucas got a pick. Jonas got a pick.
Yeah.
Is Nick gonna get a pick?" And mind you, I'm not playing much at this point in time. Like, I think Lehigh had 2 snaps that game, and I made the most of it. But he posts on his story, and I repost it saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to get one." And I was like, okay, well, like now I gotta get one. And so I come into the team like meal the next morning, and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting a pick to get today. And Larkin, you know how Larkin just looks at me, just like.
Larkin's such a good
D1 hater, but love that man.
I love that too.
Larkin, Jester, everybody just geeking like, okay, Sank, okay. And so we get into the game about halfway through the game. I think it's early on in the second half, and they call something. We got into it, but we ended up, it was a tomahawk. So my job on tomahawk is getting to the curls. So I'm lined up. They snap the ball. I drop back into the curl. I sit down. And he looks my way. And I'm like, and then
there's the ball at me.
There's a receiver right beside me. Happens to run a curl route. So I'm sitting right there. He throws it to the receiver, and I just jump in front and dive. And it's a low ball, so I have to like dive down because I wanted to make sure I pick. I wasn't trying to just get I wasn't trying to do house call. I was just trying to get the pick. Dive down, catch it. And I just remember, like, at that moment, like, I couldn't even think. Like, I was so excited. I didn't even know what to do. I just stand up with the ball and just start running around, just so excited. Like, I told you. I told you.
I remember
And I just remember Coach Mendy was just on the sideline, just eyes wide. Just like he's like, there's no way. And awesome. Larkin and Jester and everybody, I was like, so like you said, I was so excited to just tell him, like, I did it.
look.
And ring the pride, just ring the bell for the first time.
I think like a couple minutes after that, someone on the sideline was like, dude, he called that. Like, his brothers had him like yesterday, and then like he did it today, and I was like, wow, that's dope. We had a good defensive day that day.
Yeah, it was a good day.
That was a fun game. That was one of our first games. That was one of our first games that we all probably played in a little bit. So that was a lot of fun.
No, that was a lot of fun. But we're gonna jump into some stories real quick for the last couple minutes from outside of football. Princeton's known for its academics. It can be pretty tough. What's the hardest class or assignment that you've had here?
You want to start?
Yeah, go for it.
So definitely my hardest class. It's like the Princeton has like core requirements you have to take. So like regardless of your major, you have to take something that falls into like a science or like a math type requirement or language or things like that. The hardest class I ever took, I took it with John Volker and Will Reed. So the three of us, we took it together. It was Astro 205, which was called Planets in the Universe, but it was a whole lot of astrophysics. And it was tough.
Astrophysics is crazy.
Yeah, it was tough, but we actually loved it because the professor we had was like the favorite professor we've had the whole time we've been here. He's awesome. Like within his field, he's like he discovered like either the second or the third biggest exoplanet like ever discovered in history. Like he's done so many cool things within that field. Cool. And I mean, the kids in those classes were unbelievably smart. And then there was the three of us just putting shots up and hoping something went in. It was a lot of trial and error, but we went to a ton of office hours. Had to get a ton of extra help, but we got through it.
Science without lab, right?
I actually used that as my math.
Oh, really?
Because you could use it as either.
Which was really nice. I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah. Yeah. That's
avoided the math 100 route.
Speaking of math, I was in math 103 my freshman fall.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Yeah.
That was really tough. Yeah. I had I remember
it was online, right? I'm guessing.
Yep. Yeah, it was online. So we were at home.
That didn't help
that fall, and we were doing online, and so you don't have the same kind of office hours. You don't get to meet other students that you can talk to and go through the questions the same way. Right. But I just remember taking the exams. High school, I'm used to like I'm gonna get like a 97 when I go on my math exams. Like I was a great student and I was used to going through it. When I got into my first exam, I was not ready for it being something where they're like you're not supposed to know how to do it. It's not on like the stuff you learn. It's like applying you stuff to like the next
like
step.
The concepts and what you do.
And so I remember I think exams were out of like either 40 or 60. And I had a teammate in one of my classes, and I remember him saying, "I'm just trying to hit double digits."
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And I was just like, and it was a fact. Like some of those exams, you were just trying to get 10 out of 40 because that stuff was hard. I remember my average for exams that semester in that class was a 45.
Yeah,
a 45. Like it just going through into the exams, and you open up the exam and you don't know how to do anything, and you're like, I'm just trying to get some partial credit.
Yeah, just something. Yeah.
It was insane because the class average was a 55. So the good thing about Princeton is they curve their grades. So if the class average on exams was 55, I think I ended up with like a B minus in the class, even though I averaged 45 on my exams. Yeah, it's all relative. But it was just like such a tough experience being like the first time where you get to exam and you just don't know it. You're literally like failing an exam, but you end up okay.
Yeah. I think, I mean, like, I usually always go back to like probably when I was doing online school. Like, I'm just not a fan of it. Like, I learn better in person for sure. So I think writing seminar freshman year, I think like you guys can both agree too. Like, I don't think I had done that much writing in any sort of class, like that much volume in high school. Like a 5-page paper was like daunting in high school at one point, but like getting thrown into like a 15-page paper, and then like, I mean, like I remember like we were all online and like we're sitting there on Zoom, and that we're supposed to have like a rough draft, supposed to be like anywhere from like 12 to 15 pages, and there's kids that have like 3 pages and they're like I can't write, like I don't know what to write. There's other kids that have like 10, 15 pages, and then like we'll literally watch our like professor like redline half of it, and it's like, this has to go. So it's like, I don't know, I think it's more so just the experience. Like I was just like, oh my gosh, like, and then you try and put something on paper, and then you read it again, and you're like, oh my god, like this doesn't make sense. So like sometimes at times you're just in your head, because you know it's kind of just like that initial shock, that freshman shock. Like obviously now, like over the years, you know, me and Collin were both anthropology majors, so like I feel like that's almost all we do now is like try and articulate ourselves. So like over time it's gotten better, but I think that was definitely one of the hardest things, was that writing first semester, and like being able to think critically and like think one thing and then put it on the paper is just a whole another thing. And it was definitely tough, but that's what comes to mind for me for sure.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up with one final little game. It's going to be name that player or coach. So the way it's going to work is we're each going to do like an impression, and we're going to give a quick pause for the audience to guess who it is. And then we're going to say who it is. Or the rest of the other people are going to guess. So we're going to go around twice. You each get two to do. And Colin, would you like the privilege of kicking us off?
So how exactly do you want?
You can get a little.
It's just a phrase, right?
Just like a phrase that they do. You can add it. Or you can do a phrase or a movement.
Okay.
Or both if you want.
Phrase
up to you.
Or movement. I'm gonna start off with a classic. Gotta go, man. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go.
Gotta go.
Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Shout out verbs.
Yeah, verbs. 100%. That's a good one. I got one. Okay. Hold on, let me. I gotta channel his. Hey man, we gotta run to the ball, man. Hey man, we gotta run to the ball, man.
Oh, shout out Coach Rapp.
Coach Rapp. Shout out Coach Rapp.
He's a good man right there.
He's in the D line room now. He's in the DB room. He's a doughboy.
He's a doughboy.
He's a D lineman at heart. He knows.
He is.
He knows.
He is.
This one is gonna be a quick one too. So it's from a Friday meeting. Yeah, you know, guys, pursuit, right? It's in our DNA.
It's gotta be Coach Henny, right?
It's Henny, yeah. The DNA, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. He is our pursuit guy.
Mm-hmm. He is our
Friday pursuit guy.
Hey, it's one of our core values.
Oh, I gotta think of another one now.
Same.
I gotta think of one.
You can do an action.
No issues.
Oh, I got an action.
No issues this weekend.
Oh, that's a good one. It's got to be Corey, right?
Yeah.
Corey, yeah.
No issues.
That's a good one. I got another one. I got a movement.
You got a movement?
Yeah,
movement.
Oh, let's see it.
Move the ball.
Go like this. You know, you're here and then you're here. Or you're here and then you're here. He worked here and then he pivoted there. You know? Here and then he pivoted there. Come on, you guys know.
It's got to be verbs, right?
Yeah.
I got one for you.
The key mannerism right here. Love it.
Right? Just here.
Yeah. I love it.
All right, here we go. You just got to figure it out.
Just get it done. He's always got some army. Backside army.
The backside.
Duda.
That's good. Yeah. That's good.
Shout out Coach Colucci.
Shout out Coach
Colucci. He is the best.
Anyways,
those are some good ones. Those are
some good ones.
And I would expect everyone on our team to get those too.
There's a player. Can you take me higher?
It's got to be Will Reed, right?
It's Rob.
That's Rob.
I guess Will Reed.
Rob.
My voice couldn't match Rob.
Rob's got that beautiful singing voice of Rob's.
Shout out Rob.
Rob does have a great voice.
But anyways, it's been fun. We got to run. Yeah. We got yoga. Got to stay limber. Yeah. But
gotta go, man.
This was a fun first episode. Appreciate you guys coming on.
Colin,
this was a lot of fun.
Proud of you, Colin.
Thank you.
You guys
did it. Good. It was good.
So,
appreciate you for having us on for the first one.
And that's a wrap.
Fire. Boom.